Welcome back to Top 5. The murder of Mary Fagan, 1913 to 2019. The murder of 12-year-old Mary Fagan in Georgia is one of the most notorious cases in American legal history, characterized by a blend of racial tensions, anti-Semitism, and a fervent media frenzy. In April 1913, Mary Fagan was found dead in the basement of the National Pencil Company, where she worked. The investigation quickly turned towards Leo Frank, the factory's Jewish manager, based on circumstantial evidence and a coerced confession from a mentally impaired witness. The trial began in July 1913 and quickly captured national attention. The prosecution painted a picture of Frank as a perverted monster, while the defense struggled against a backdrop of rampant anti-Semitism. Despite a lack of physical evidence linking him to the crime, Frank was convicted and sentenced to death. Public outcry followed, leading to a series of appeals that ultimately failed. In 1915, a mob abducted Frank from prison and lynched him, a shocking act that highlighted the racial and social tensions of the time. The case remained a contentious issue for decades, with many advocating for Frank's posthumous exoneration. In 2019, over a century later, the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles formally acknowledged the miscarriage of justice, granting Frank a posthumous pardon. This case serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of prejudice and the vulnerabilities inherent in the legal system. 9. The disappearance of the Sodder children, 1945–present. On Christmas Eve in 1945, a fire destroyed the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, resulting in the tragic disappearance of 5 of the 10 Sodder children. The family was left devastated, and the circumstances surrounding the fire raised numerous questions. Despite the official ruling of the fire being accidental, the Sodder family suspected foul play, fueled by strange events leading up to the fire, including a mysterious man who had been seen watching their home. In the years that followed, the Sodders became convinced that their children had been kidnapped. They erected a billboard along a highway, displaying the children's photos and offering a reward for information. Sightings of the children were reported across the United States, but none were confirmed. The case has persisted for decades, with the Sodder family continuing to seek answers and closure. The mystery remains unsolved, prompting speculation and conspiracy theories. The case exemplifies the enduring quest for truth and the emotional toll unresolved cases can take on families. The Sodder children's disappearance continues to captivate public interest, serving as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the mysteries that can linger long after tragedy strikes. 8. The Black Dahlia murder, 1947–present. The unsolved murder of Elizabeth Short, famously known as the Black Dahlia, remains one of the most infamous cold cases in American history. In January 1947, Short's body was discovered in a vacant lot in Los Angeles, mutilated and drained of blood. The gruesome nature of the crime and Short's striking appearance captured the public's imagination, leading to a media frenzy that only intensified the investigation. Despite extensive efforts by the LAPD and numerous suspects being brought forth, the case went cold. Over the years, numerous theories emerged, ranging from the involvement of Hollywood figures to a possible connection to organized crime. The case has been explored in countless books, films, and documentaries, each offering new perspectives on the mystery. The Black Dahlia case has persisted for over 75 years, illustrating the complexities of unsolved crimes and the cultural fascination with violence and tragedy. It serves as a reminder of the darker aspects of human nature and the enduring quest for closure in the face of unresolved mysteries. 7. The murder of Robert F. Kennedy, 1968–present. Robert F. Kennedy's assassination on June 5, 1968, marked a pivotal moment in American history, occurring just months after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. The shooting took place in the kitchen pantry of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, where Kennedy had just delivered a victory speech after winning the California primary for the Democratic presidential nomination. Sirhan, a 24-year-old Palestinian man, was arrested at the scene and later convicted of first-degree murder. While Sirhan's conviction seemed to close the case, conspiracy theories questioning the circumstances of the assassination have persisted for decades. Some argue that there was a second gunman, suggesting that Sirhan was a pawn in a larger conspiracy to eliminate Kennedy. Numerous investigations and documentaries have sought to unravel the truth, but the case remains shrouded in ambiguity, leading to ongoing debates about political violence and the quest for justice. As the years have passed, the legacy of Robert F. Kennedy endures, and the mystery surrounding his assassination continues to provoke discussions about the fragility of democracy and the impacts of political extremism. This case, still unresolved in many aspects, serves as a potent reminder of the potential for violence in political arenas and the lasting effects of such tragedies on society. 6. The Unabomber Case, 1978–1996. The Unabomber case, involving Ted Kaczynski, spanned nearly 2 decades and captivated the nation with its chilling narrative. Kaczynski, a former mathematics professor, engaged in a nationwide bombing campaign targeting individuals associated with modern technology and industrial society. His meticulously crafted bombs resulted in 3 deaths and 23 injuries between 1978 and 1995. The FBI launched an extensive investigation, dubbing him the Unabomber, due to his targeting of universities and airlines. The case took a dramatic turn when Kaczynski sent a manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future, to major newspapers, demanding its publication. The manifesto outlined his anti-technology beliefs and critiques of modern society. In 1996, Kaczynski's brother recognized his writing style and turned him in to the authorities, leading to his arrest. Kaczynski ultimately pleaded guilty in 1998, receiving a life sentence without parole. The case raised significant questions about domestic terrorism, mental health, and the ethics of technological advancement, making it a landmark in discussions surrounding violence and ideology in contemporary society. 5. The McMartin Preschool Trial, 1983–1990. The McMartin Preschool Trial is one of the most infamous child abuse cases in U.S. history, lasting nearly 7 years and marked by sensationalism and moral panic. It began in 1983 when allegations of sexual abuse surfaced against the staff of the McMartin Preschool in Manhattan Beach, California. The initial accusations triggered a wave of similar claims, leading to a massive investigation. The trial, which began in 1987, involved over 400 witnesses and drew national attention. The prosecution's case relied heavily on testimony from young children, utilizing controversial techniques such as anatomically correct dolls to elicit responses. Despite the lack of physical evidence and the defense's arguments that the children's testimonies were coerced and unreliable, the trial became a media spectacle. Ultimately, after years of legal battles and public scrutiny, the trial concluded in 1990 without any convictions, and the charges were eventually dropped against all defendants. The McMartin case serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of mass hysteria and the consequences of flawed investigations. It highlights the vulnerabilities of the judicial system and the profound impact of public perception on legal proceedings. 4. The West Memphis 3, 1993–2011. The West Memphis 3 case is a haunting saga that underscores the failures of the justice system and the impact of wrongful convictions. In May 1993, the bodies of 3 8-year-old boys were discovered in a wooded area of West Memphis, Arkansas, leading to a frantic investigation that would ultimately focus on 3 local teenagers, Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly Jr. The prosecution painted the trio as devil-worshipping killers, capitalizing on the prevailing cultural fears of the time. Despite a lack of physical evidence linking them to the crime, the teens were convicted in a highly publicized trial that took place from 1994 to 1996. Miskelly, who had an intellectual disability, provided a coerced confession that was riddled with inconsistencies and later recanted. Over the years, numerous appeals and new evidence emerged, including DNA testing that excluded the 3 defendants. The case took a dramatic turn in 2011 when Eccles, Baldwin, and Miss Kelly were released under an Alford plea, allowing them to maintain their innocence while acknowledging that the state had sufficient evidence to convict them. The West Memphis 3 case remains a powerful example of the need for reform in the criminal justice system. It highlights the dangers of relying on sensationalist narratives and the importance of due process. This story is a testament to the resilience of those fighting for justice and the ongoing struggle for truth in the face of systemic failures. 3. The Trial of Michael Jackson, 2005 to 2005. The trial of pop icon Michael Jackson for child molestation charges spanned several months in 2005, captivating audiences worldwide. The case arose from allegations that Jackson had molested a 13-year-old boy at his Neverland Ranch. The trial attracted intense media scrutiny and public interest, turning it into a spectacle that would be analyzed for years to come. As the trial unfolded, the prosecution presented evidence, including testimonies from the alleged victim and his family, while the defense argued that Jackson was the target of a conspiracy to extort money from him. Jackson's defense team claimed that the allegations were fabricated, emphasizing the lack of credible evidence and the inconsistencies in the testimonies of the accusers. The trial featured dramatic moments, including the questioning of key witnesses and the presentation of video footage from Jackson's interviews. Throughout the proceedings, Jackson's public image fluctuated dramatically. Supporters rallied around him, viewing him as a misunderstood artist, while detractors expressed outrage and condemnation. The media frenzy surrounding the trial was unparalleled, with live broadcasts and constant coverage dominating news cycles. On June 13, 2005, after weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury acquitted Jackson of all charges, including molestation, conspiracy, and extortion. The verdict was met with both jubilation from his fans and disappointment from those who believed the allegations. While the trial concluded with Jackson's acquittal, the fallout from the case continued to impact his career and legacy for years to come. The Michael Jackson trial remains a landmark event in the intersection of celebrity culture and the legal system. It raised critical questions about the treatment of high-profile defendants, the media's role in shaping public perception, and the complexities of child abuse allegations. Even after the trial, discussions about Jackson's life and legacy persisted, especially in light of subsequent allegations that emerged after his death in 2009. 2. The O.J. Simpson Trial, 1994 to 1995. The trial of O.J. Simpson stands as a monumental event in American legal history, captivating the nation and reshaping the discourse around race, celebrity, and the justice system. The case began in June 1994 when Simpson was implicated in the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman, whose bodies were discovered outside Brown's Los Angeles home. The ensuing media frenzy escalated with the infamous low-speed chase broadcast live on television, during which Simpson was seen in a white Bronco driven by his friend Al Cowlings. The chase captivated millions, setting the stage for what would be dubbed the trial of the century. The trial officially commenced in January 1995, with a star-studded cast of lawyers and expert witnesses on both sides. The prosecution presented a case that focused on DNA evidence, 911 calls, and Simpson's history of domestic violence. However, the defense team, led by Johnny Cochran and Robert Shapiro, mounted a vigorous campaign that emphasized issues of racism, police misconduct, and the reliability of forensic evidence. The defense famously used the phrase, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit," during a demonstration with a pair of gloves allegedly worn by Simpson during the murders. After months of dramatic courtroom proceedings, on October 3, 1995, the jury delivered a verdict of not guilty, sparking a nationwide debate about race relations, the criminal justice system, and media influence. The outcome divided public opinion along racial lines, with many African Americans celebrating the verdict as a victory against systemic racism, while many others viewed it as a failure of justice. The trial's impact was profound and far-reaching. It prompted discussions about domestic violence, the role of the media in high-profile cases, and the perception of justice in America. Simpson's life continued to be marred by controversies and legal issues, including a subsequent civil trial in which he was found liable for wrongful death. The O.J. Simpson trial remains a defining moment in the interplay between celebrity culture and the legal system, leaving a lasting legacy in American society. 1. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann, 2007-present. At the pinnacle of this list is the tragic and ongoing case of Madeleine McCann, a 3-year-old girl who vanished from her family's holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal, on May 3, 2007. The McCann family was on vacation from the United Kingdom, and during the evening, Madeleine and her younger siblings were left sleeping in the apartment while her parents dined at a nearby restaurant. When Madeleine was discovered missing, an extensive search effort ensued, involving local authorities, volunteers, and media coverage that spread across the globe. The circumstances of her disappearance raised immediate concerns, prompting speculation about abduction. The case quickly became a media sensation, with the McCann family appealing for information and launching a campaign to find their daughter. Despite numerous leads, investigations, and the involvement of private investigators, the case remains unsolved. Over the years, theories about what happened to Madeleine have proliferated, ranging from abduction to tragic accidents. The lack of resolution has led to significant public interest and scrutiny, with various documentaries, podcasts, and books delving into the details of the case. The McCann family's tireless efforts to keep Madeleine's story alive have kept the case in the public consciousness. They launched the Find Madeleine campaign, raising awareness and funds to support ongoing investigations. The case has also raised critical discussions about child safety, parental responsibility, and the media's role in missing persons cases. As of now, the search for Madeleine McCann continues, with new developments occasionally surfacing. The case serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of childhood and the relentless pursuit of truth and justice. It highlights the deep emotional toll that unresolved cases impose on families and underscores the importance of continued vigilance in the quest for answers.